everyone. Welcome to one more video from Brand Fitness Gym brought to you by Whitespace. Now, a couple of disclaimers. This is not a promotional video, and this is based on a very objective finding published in a very reputed journal. So we are just giving you our take on it because this journal, the facts which it has raised resonates very, very powerfully with the philosophy of Whitespace and what we do. So let's start. So thank you again for watching, and let's kickstart this. Why do we have training programs? Why do we have training programs? What is the sole purpose? I think the whole purpose is basically to enhance the capability, to help a person perform better, and actually to drive organizational performance. That is the reason. And in my almost 3 decades of experience, I have been a part of training programs as a participant, and I have also been a part of training programs as faculty. So I think this would be the basic thing that we do training programs because the companies invest in training because they want the employees to learn and apply and perform better on the job. So there is no doubt on the intention of the training programs. But as a marketer, as a strategist, between intent to desired action, there may be a gap. Now, is there a gap? 2 days ago, I came across this article which was published in 2019 in the Harvard Business Review. And I was going through it, and there were some very startling findings in that. They had done a survey on close to 1,500 company people and about the efficacy of L&D programs. And this was obviously US centric. And the findings were very, very hard hitting. Let me share with you the findings. Are you ready? The first fact. 75%, that means 3 out of 4, every respondent reported that they were dissatisfied with the training programs offered by the L&D departments of their company. Okay. There is more. 70% of the respondents felt that despite attending the training programs, they don't have mastery on their skills to perform their jobs. Now, isn't this surprising? Because the whole purpose of organizing a training program is to make sure that the participant performs better in the job. But this is what comes out. More importantly, only 1 out of 8, that is 12% of the participants, respondents, said that they apply the skills which is learned on their new job, on their current job. Only 12% after attending a training program apply this knowledge. Last but not the least, the belief that whether the training program actually impacted performance. Let's forget what about HR, L&D, and we as leadership team. Participants, only 1 out of every 4 participants believe that the training program any training program has impacted them. That means 3 out of 4 people believe that there was no impact of the training program. Now, this is something which is very, very critical. So the article talks about that how majority of the people who attend training programs, various training programs, they don't feel that they have attained mastery. It has helped them to perform better, and whether they've been able to apply the knowledge which is learned. Now, when one is faced with these kind of things, then the apparent reason is why. And what basically the article tells, and I think each of the points is a separate video by itself. But I think the core of the thing says that why do we do an L&D? Learning for the wrong reasons. See, most of the point, and I'll be upfront over here, typically training programs are done to fulfill certain KPIs of various people, leadership team, HR, L&D. Yes, because people are being measured on certain deliverables, and it's absolutely fair. Now, but is that the only reason? Or suppose we saw that today, even when we see individual where people invest their own training programs on LinkedIn and all that, and they show certificates that I've attended this. So is the intent more to learn or to show that an act has been done and publicize that act? So learning for the wrong reasons. So are we there for the right reasons? And this has huge implications for companies, that when you are selecting people for training program, when you're conducting a training, what is the problem that you are solving? What is the reason why you're investing? Now, I'm not saying every training program needs to be, for skill development. Sometimes, yes, having been in corporate, I understand that there are times when you want to go out of the office, spend time in an offsite, brainstorm, have fun and come back. There's no harm in it. But then treat it the way it is. Treat it the way it is. Don't expect too much out of it. I would view those kind of training programs as a mixture of corporate picnics, where everybody goes, has fun, comes out, little bit of bonhomie, team bonding, and that's it. Keep it like that. So understand which are the programs for what reasons. The second reason which to talk about is learning at the wrong time. What is this learning at the wrong time? See, very frankly, look at a corollary. We all know that one has to eat healthy, stay fit, wellness is important. But it's very difficult for a youngster who's, though there is a huge amount of fitness, awareness which is happening, wellness and fitness which is having in youngsters. But typically what happens, till when we give good sleeping, good eating, good diet advice to our kids, what happens? They listen, but how much should they apply? Because that is not relevant to them. The consequence of doing a good action or following a good thing, the consequence is not visible to them. So sometimes what happens is, training, when we're doing a training program, when you're investing in a training program, it may be at a wrong time where the participant doesn't feel that he or she is needed. My brand is doing well, my team is doing well. Why do I need a training program? But then I will need a training program. But can that training program be different? Yeah, that will be like that corporate picnic type, team building, motivation, but not to solve a problem. So typically, any participant will take back more from a training program when he or she is faced with a problem, which is relevant to the business. Then only the learning can be applied. So learning at the wrong time, which is very important. What does it mean for organizations? That when you are making and designing training programs or L&D investments, please make sure, don't make it for everyone. There would be people at various stages, various requirements. Break them into those buckets. Don't worry about a quorum of a batch size that need 25, 35, 45. We have also seen, we've conducted n number of marketing capability programs with more than 1,000 plus participants across the Indian subcontinent. And it's normally just the 3 or 4% of the participants which are actually taking something back and applying and keeping in touch. So why have a batch of 25, 30? You're wasting their time. Right? So figure out those who are ready for training, who need that training most. The third important point is learning the wrong things. Now, learning the wrong things is, again, it boils down to the relevance. Typically, the problem is that even when I'll be very upfront, when companies approach us, in programs and marketing, they say, teach us something new, And I said, what is something new? It's not, again, that last year we went on a different corporate, this venue at a corporate picnic, this time we'll go to a different corporate picnic. I know I'm sounding brutal. But yeah, how is it going to help? If the objective is to motivate, entertain, charge up people for a temporary thing, then yes, do the training program. What is new? Or sensitizing them. But it is not going to drive transformation. Because again, I come back to the thing that learning something new can only happen if you have learned the foundations. If our foundations have not been learned, what is the point of learning something new? Now, how do I explain to them? How do we explain that, yes, as a module, your team has done segmentation, but do they all understand segmentation? Is that being reflected? Is that being reflected in all the strategy plans which you're doing? So maybe till you learn that, till you apply that, till you learn that, there is no point of learning something new. Right? So, yes, I'm not saying that new knowledge is not important. Right? It is important. And which brings me to the fourth point. We forget what we have learned. Famous study, we talk about learning curve, there's something called forgetting curve, right? So we know what is learning curve, there's something called forgetting curve. And it says 75% of what we have learned, we forget in 5 days. 5 days, that's it. We forget. Now, why do we forget? Because we don't apply. Why don't we apply? Because we are learning something new, which is not relevant, which is not applicable. And this goes back to what the Harvard Business Review study talks about, that only 12% of the people apply the new knowledge which they have learned. So why should I spend money on, if I'm a businessman sitting here, and I am a businessman, and your leadership team, why should I invest company resources in providing a platform to learn something which will not get applied, which may not be relevant to the business? Today, we are talking about knowledge. We have seen people who use this YouTube, Udemy, Wave platforms, that people who are genuinely fond of learning something new. With Google and all, everything is there. You can always learn something new and at no cost. Why spend a couple of lakhs per day on creating something which may not get applied? So this is something I think we need to get out of the newness trap also, and focus that as a team, as a thing, how do we help them build mastery? So this was absolutely my view, and my take on this. And as I said, why I felt like sharing this with you is because it resonates very powerfully. And a message to the marketers who are looking this. So there are 2 or 3 messages. I don't know who the audience of this video will be. If you are a marketer, my message to you would be that yes, if you want to learn something new, definitely it is very important that you learn. You keep on evolving. There is enough knowledge which is there, right? So my first take would be: will you invest your time in learning something new? Number one, because if it's important for you, because if that is there, there are enough resources which are there in the net. Number 2 question which I will ask you: have you truly built mastery on what you are supposed to do, aspects of your job? Focus on building mastery, because that is going to be your immunity, that is going to be your point of differentiation. Second thing which I would like you to keep, again as business leaders, yes, your team demands, focus on building what are the interventions which build mastery, which help build mastery, because that is the thing which is going to help you drive your impact business performance. At the end of the day, every single thing we do, we are judged by our business performance, short term, medium term, long term. What is going to drive business performance? Invest there, right? And last but not the least, even L&D departments, you have a huge responsibility of looking at this. So what I mentioned for the business leaders, it is applicable to L&D, because you are the catalyst, you are the people who are driving this. So keep the biggest lesson which I would like you to keep is that when you are designing interventions, please make sure that are you taking the right people? Are you talking about building mastery? Are you building applicability? And then if those 3 are marks are being taken, then you take a decision into designing L&D programs for that, and that will help you. In my journey in white space, I've come across very, very talented L&D people who actually use this approach. And yes, you can. That's the right approach to be used. So this was it. I know. I hope this video does throw some questions. It became a slightly longish video, but we'll talk more about individual aspects in various other videos. So till then, thank you so much for watching. And as today every every video person says, please share, like, subscribe. That goes here also. But yes, we will be trying to bring out more and more content which helps you provoke your thinking. And if it can help you in any way, we'll be the happiest. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. Bye.